My best friend announced her pregnancy with my husband at our 5-year wedding anniversary. This revenge will make you believe in justice. What's up, warriors? It's your girl Sophia here with another insane revenge story that's gonna blow your freaking minds. Today we're diving into a story from Jessica, a 32-year-old marketing executive from Denver, and let me tell you, this woman didn't just get revenge, she obliterated 2 backstabbing snakes so hard they're still trying to figure out what hit them. This is the most calculated, cold-blooded takedown I've ever witnessed, and I'm here for every single second. So buckle up because we're about to witness a masterclass in how to destroy people who think they can play you like a fool. And trust me, this story has more twists than a damn pretzel factory. All right, listen up. Picture this scene. It's October 15th, 2023, a crisp Friday evening in Denver. The kind of night where the mountains are perfectly framed against the sunset and everything feels like it should be in a damn postcard. Jessica Martinez is sitting in the Capitol Grill in downtown Denver. You know, the kind of place where they charge you $50 for a piece of steak and act like they're doing you a favor. This isn't just any restaurant either. This is the restaurant where David proposed to her 5 years ago. The same booth, the same wine, the same view of the city lights twinkling like diamonds. She's wearing her favorite emerald green dress, a Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress that cost her 2 weeks' salary, but makes her look like she owns the world. Her dark hair is styled in those loose Hollywood curls that took her hairstylist 3 hours to perfect. Her makeup is flawless, that no makeup look that actually requires 15 different products. Jessica is glowing tonight, and she has every reason to be. After 5 years of marriage, she and David have finally made the decision they've been dancing around for months. They're ready to start a family. She's already started taking prenatal vitamins, tracking her ovulation cycle, reading every pregnancy book on Amazon. She's even converted their spare bedroom into potential nursery in her mind. Tonight isn't just their anniversary, it's the beginning of their next chapter. But here's where this fairy tale starts turning into a horror movie. Sitting across from them at this intimate table for 4 is Jessica's best friend since college, Riley Chen. Now let me paint you a picture of Riley because this bitch is important to the story. Riley is 30 years old, originally from San Francisco, moved to Denver specifically to be closer to Jessica after college. She's one of those effortlessly beautiful Asian American women. Long black hair, perfect skin, the kind of bone structure that makes photographers weep. Riley works as a marketing coordinator at a tech startup downtown, making decent money but nothing compared to Jessica's 6-figure salary. She's always been a little jealous of Jessica's success, but Jessica was too loyal to see it. This isn't just any friend. Riley was Jessica's maid of honor. She's the one who held Jessica's hair back when she got food poisoning in college. She helped Jessica move into her first apartment. She was there when Jessica's dad died of a heart attack 3 years ago, holding her while she sobbed in the hospital corridor. For 12 years, these women have been inseparable. They had weekly girls' nights, shared passwords to each other's Netflix accounts, knew each other's deepest secrets and biggest fears. Jessica trusted Riley with her life. The 4th person at this table is David's business partner, Marcus Thompson, a 35-year-old financial advisor who co-owns their investment firm with David. Marcus has been acting weird all evening, and I mean weird. He's checking his phone every 30 seconds like he's expecting World War III to break out. He's avoiding eye contact with Jessica, his hands are shaking, and he's sweating through his expensive Hugo Boss suit. Jessica notices something is off immediately because she's not stupid. She's a senior marketing director who reads people for a living. Riley hasn't touched the $200 bottle of Dom Perignon that David ordered special for the occasion. Her usually perfect makeup looks slightly smudged around the eyes like she's been crying in the bathroom. Her hands are trembling as she fidgets with her water glass, and David keeps shooting these loaded glances at Riley that Jessica can't quite decipher. There's something electric in the air, something charged and dangerous that makes Jessica's stomach clench with unease. But Jessica, being the loyal friend and trusting wife she's always been, pushes down her instincts. She figures Riley is probably going through another one of her messy romantic situations. Riley has a pattern. She falls hard for emotionally unavailable men, gets her heart shattered, and Jessica becomes her therapist, her shoulder to cry on, her emergency contact when she's too drunk to get home safely. Jessica has cleaned up Riley's messes more times than she can count. Bailed her out of bad relationships, loaned her money when she was between jobs, let her crash on their couch for 2 months when she couldn't make rent. That's what best friends do, right? So when David stands up, champagne glass trembling in his hand, Jessica expects the usual anniversary speech. Something romantic about their journey together, their hopes for the future, maybe even a hint about starting a family. David's voice cracks as he begins. 5 years ago, I married the woman of my dreams in this very restaurant. Jessica, you've made me the happiest man alive. Jessica's heart swells. This is perfect. This is exactly what she wanted. But then David's expression changes. His face goes pale and he looks directly at Riley. Actually, before I finish my toast, Riley has something she needs to share with everyone. The temperature in the room seems to drop 10 degrees. Riley stands up slowly like she's walking to her execution. Tears are streaming down her face, but there's something else in her expression. Something that looks almost like triumph. I'm pregnant, she announces, her voice carrying across the private dining room. And David is the father. The words hit Jessica like a physical blow. The champagne glass slips from her hand, but she catches it before it hits the table. The jazz music playing softly in the background suddenly sounds like funeral music. The romantic candlelight now feels like it's highlighting a crime scene. Jessica can hear her heartbeat in her ears. She can feel every eye in the restaurant turning toward their table. She can see the shock on Marcus's face. But wait, is that shock or is that relief? The seconds stretch like hours. Riley is looking at her, expectantly waiting for the explosion. David is frozen, his champagne glass still raised in a grotesque mockery of celebration. Marcus is staring at his phone like it holds the secrets of the universe. This is the moment that would define the rest of Jessica's life. This is where most women would lose their absolute shit, would scream, cry, throw things, maybe even get violent. The restaurant staff would have to intervene. Security would be called. It would be messy and public and humiliating. But Jessica Martinez is not most women. She takes a slow, deliberate sip of her champagne, savoring the taste of bubbles on her tongue. She sets the crystal glass down with the precision of a surgeon performing brain surgery. And then she does something that will haunt Riley and David for the rest of their miserable lives. She smiles. Not a fake smile, not a bitter smile, but a genuine, almost predatory smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Congratulations, she says, her voice steady as granite. That's medically fascinating. Riley's triumphant expression starts to falter like a deflating balloon. What do you mean? Jessica reaches into her designer Hermes handbag, the one David bought her for their first anniversary, and pulls out a manila envelope. The kind lawyers use for documents that can end marriages and destroy lives. Well, Jessica says, opening the envelope with the theatrical flair of a magician about to perform the ultimate trick. According to Dr. Patricia Williams at Rocky Mountain Fertility Center, my dear husband David has what medical professionals call severe oligospermia. She pauses for effect, looking around the table at their shocked faces. For those of you who didn't go to medical school, that means his sperm count is so pathetically low it's essentially zero. He's been shooting blanks for years. The silence that follows is deafening. Jessica can hear the clink of silverware from other tables, the murmur of conversations, the soft jazz music that now sounds like a soundtrack to a disaster movie. So, Jessica continues, her voice gaining strength, either we're witnessing the second coming of Christ, or my dear friend Riley has been spreading her legs for someone else and trying to pin it on my infertile husband. Boom. Nuclear explosion. Riley's face goes through a rainbow of colors. Red, white, green, and back to white again. She grabs the edge of the table for support. Those tests are wrong, she shrieks loud enough for half the restaurant to hear. You're lying. David tries to grab Jessica's arm, his face a mask of panic. Babe, let's talk about this privately. There's been some kind of mistake. But Jessica's just getting started. She's been planning this moment for months and she's going to savor every second of it. Mistake. Jessica laughs and it's not a pleasant sound. The only mistake was trusting either of you lying pieces of shit. She pulls out her phone, opens the voice recording app, and plays back a conversation that makes everyone at the table freeze in horror. It's Riley's voice, crystal clear. She's so fucking clueless, David. Jessica actually thinks you want kids with her. God, I can't wait until this is over and we can finally be together for real. She's going to be devastated. But honestly, she deserves it for being so naive. David's voice responds, I know, baby. Just a little longer. Once she sees you're pregnant with my baby, she'll have no choice but to give me the divorce. Then we can start our real life together. The recording continues for another 30 seconds. Intimate details about their affair, cruel jokes about Jessica's expense plans for their future together. Every word is a knife twisting in Jessica's chest, but her expression never changes. The entire restaurant has gone silent now. Other diners are openly staring, some holding up their phones to record the drama. The waitstaff has gathered at a respectful distance watching the show unfold. You recorded us. David's voice is barely a whisper. Oh honey, Jessica says, tucking her phone away, that's just the beginning. I've got hours of recordings, months of text messages, hotel receipts, photographs, financial records. Should I go on? But the real shock is yet to come. Jessica looks toward the restaurant entrance and waves. Actually, there's someone else who should hear this news. Walking through the door is a tall, handsome man with dark hair and confused eyes. Tyler Rodriguez, Riley's college ex-boyfriend who moved back to Denver 3 months ago. Riley goes white as a ghost when she sees him. Tyler, what are you doing here? I got a text from someone named Jessica, Tyler says, approaching their table with growing confusion. She said you had something important to tell me about us. Jessica stands up with the grace of a queen about to execute her enemies. Tyler, meet Riley. She's pregnant. And according to the paternity test I had run, Jessica pulls out another document. Congratulations, Daddy. The baby is yours. The explosion that follows is nothing short of epic. Now, before we get to the absolute chaos that followed, let me take you back 3 months to show you exactly how Jessica played this game like a chess grandmaster. Because this level of preparation doesn't happen overnight. This was strategic warfare at its finest. It all started on July 22, 2023, at 11:47 p.m. with a phone call that should have been Jessica's first red flag. Jessica was working late in her home office, a converted bedroom in their $800,000 house in the Highlands neighborhood. She's got her laptop open, 3 monitors running, working on a major campaign for her tech company. She's in the zone, completely focused, when her phone buzzes with Riley's contact photo. Riley calling after 11 p.m. isn't unusual. She's always been a night owl and she knows Jessica often works late, but something in Riley's voice immediately sets off alarm bells. Jess. Riley's voice is thick with tears, that ugly crying sound that comes from deep soul-crushing pain. I need to tell you something, but you have to promise not to judge me. Jessica immediately closes her laptop and gives Riley her full attention. This is what best friends do. They drop everything when the other one is in crisis. What's wrong, babe? You sound terrible. Are you okay? Riley takes a shuddering breath. I'm in love with someone I shouldn't be. Someone who's completely off limits. Jessica's mind immediately goes to the usual suspects. Riley has a history of falling for unavailable men, her boss at the startup, maybe some married guy she met at a bar, a client who's engaged. Who is it? Jessica asks gently. I can't say, but Jess. What would you do if you were desperately in love with someone you could never have, someone who belongs to someone else? Red flag number 1. But Jessica, being the loyal friend she's always been, doesn't pick up on the warning signs. Riley, honey, we've talked about this before. You can't build happiness on someone else's misery. If he's with someone else, he's not available. You need to move on. But what if I could make him available? What if the person he's with doesn't deserve him? Red flag number 2. But Jessica is too trusting, too naive to see what's coming. They spend over an hour on the phone with Jessica playing therapist, giving advice about unrequited love, suggesting Riley see a counselor, maybe take a vacation to clear her head. All while Riley is planning to destroy Jessica's marriage. The next morning, Jessica mentions the call to David over breakfast. They're sitting in their beautiful kitchen, white marble countertops, stainless steel appliances, the kind of kitchen you see in home magazines. David is reading the Denver Post on his iPad, drinking his usual double espresso. Riley's having another man crisis, Jessica says, buttering her whole wheat toast. Some guy she thinks she can't have. She sounded really broken up about it. David's reaction is immediate and telling, though Jessica doesn't recognize it at the time. He nearly chokes on his coffee, his face goes pale, and he starts coughing violently. Did she say who? He asks when he finally catches his breath. No, but you know Riley, she'll probably tell me everything eventually. She always does. David suddenly becomes very interested in his phone, scrolling through emails with unnecessary intensity. I need to get to the office early today. Big meeting with potential clients. He kisses Jessica's forehead, the same spot he's kissed every morning for 5 years, and leaves 20 minutes earlier than usual. Red flag number 3. But Jessica doesn't connect the dots yet. She trusts these people with her life. The real breakthrough comes on August 5th, a Saturday morning, when Jessica is doing her usual weekend deep clean of their house. She's in David's home office dusting his computer setup when she notices their shared iPad is open to the browser. Jessica and David have always shared devices. They have each other's passwords, use the same iCloud account, the same Netflix login. Total transparency, or so Jessica thought. But when she glances at the browser history, she sees something that makes her blood run cold. Multiple visits to Rocky Mountain Fertility Center's website. Not their usual doctor, Dr. Sarah Mitchell at Denver Health, but a completely different clinic across town. Jessica stares at the screen, trying to make sense of what she's seeing. Why would David be looking at a different fertility clinic? They've been seeing Dr. Mitchell for 6 months, trying to figure out why they haven't conceived despite trying for over a year. She scrolls through the browser history. The visits to the fertility clinic website go back weeks. But there's more. Searches for male fertility treatments, sperm count improvement, oligospermia causes and treatment. Jessica's hands start shaking. David has been researching fertility issues without telling her. But why the secrecy? She takes screenshots of everything, saves them to her personal cloud storage, and then clears the browser history so David won't know she saw it. Monday morning, Jessica calls Rocky Mountain Fertility Center, disguising her voice and pretending to be David's assistant. Hi, this is calling from David Martinez's office. I need to confirm his appointment this week for his ongoing treatments. Oh yes, the receptionist says cheerfully. Mr. Martinez has been coming in regularly for his treatments. His next appointment is Thursday at 2 p.m. Should I send a reminder to his usual number? That won't be necessary, Jessica says, her voice barely steady. Thank you. Treatments. What treatments? David told her he'd been working late on Thursdays, meeting with high-value clients who could only meet after business hours. Jessica hangs up the phone and sits in her car in the parking lot of her office building, staring at the Denver skyline, trying to process what she's learned. Her husband has been lying to her. Not just lying, actively deceiving her about something as fundamental as their ability to have children together. That's when Jessica makes the smartest decision of her life. She calls Maria Santos. Maria Santos is a private investigator who specializes in matrimonial cases. She's a former Denver police detective who left the force after 15 years to start her own business. Jessica found her through a Google search, but what sold her was Maria's reviews. Dozens of testimonials from women who discovered their husbands were cheating. They meet at a small coffee shop in Capitol Hill, far from Jessica's usual haunts in downtown and the Highlands. Maria's exactly what Jessica expected. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, the kind of woman who misses nothing. She's wearing jeans and a leather jacket, looking more like someone's cool aunt than a private investigator. What makes you think your husband is cheating? Maria asks, stirring sugar into her black coffee. Jessica shows her the screenshots from David's browser history, tells her about the mysterious fertility treatments, the changed behavior, the late nights that are becoming more frequent. I need to know the truth, Jessica says. I need evidence. If he's cheating, I need proof for the divorce. Divorce cases can get ugly, Maria warns. Are you prepared for what we might find? Jessica thinks about 12 years of friendship with Riley, 5 years of marriage with David, the future they've planned together. I'm prepared for anything, she says. She's lying. She has no idea what's coming. Maria's investigation begins immediately. She puts GPS trackers on David's car, legal in Colorado as long as Jessica is listed as a co-owner, which she is. She starts monitoring his social media activity, his credit card usage, his phone records. Within a week, Maria has enough evidence to blow Jessica's world apart. Your husband isn't just cheating, Maria tells Jessica over the phone. He's cheating with someone you know very well. They meet again at the same coffee shop. Maria slides a manila envelope across the table filled with photographs that make Jessica's stomach turn. David and Riley kissing in the parking lot of the fertility clinic. David and Riley entering the Ritz-Carlton downtown at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, the same time David was supposedly meeting clients. Riley wearing lingerie that Jessica recognizes from their shopping trip last month, posing for photos in what's clearly a hotel room. But the most damning evidence is a recorded phone conversation between David and Riley, captured when David called her from his car after leaving one of his client meetings. I can't wait much longer, Riley's voice says through Maria's equipment. When are you going to tell her? Soon, baby. I promise. I just need to figure out the right way. Jessica's going to be devastated. Good, Riley says, and there's actual venom in her voice. She's had everything handed to her for too long. Perfect job, perfect marriage, perfect life. It's time she learned what real pain feels like. Riley. Don't Riley me. You promised we'd be together. I'm tired of being your secret. You won't be a secret much longer. I love you. I love you too, and I have a surprise for you. What kind of surprise? The kind that's going to change everything. The recording ends there, leaving Jessica staring at Maria with tears streaming down her face. "There's more," Maria says gently. "Your friend Riley has been seeing someone else too." She shows Jessica more photos, Riley with a different man, someone Jessica doesn't recognize. Tall, dark hair, handsome in a brooding way. His name is Tyler Rodriguez. He's Riley's ex-boyfriend from college. Moved back to Denver 3 months ago. The timeline clicks into place. Riley's mysterious phone call about being in love with someone unavailable. Her secretive behavior. The pregnancy announcement. "Maria," Jessica says, her voice deadly calm. "I need you to find out everything about Tyler Rodriguez. And I need you to get me a paternity test." "A paternity test?" Riley's pregnant. She's planning to announce that David is the father, but if she's been sleeping with Tyler too. Maria nods understanding immediately. "You think the baby might not be your husband's?" "I think my husband and my best friend are about to learn a very expensive lesson about underestimating Jessica Martinez." The paternity investigation reveals something that makes Jessica's previous discoveries look like child's play. Maria contacts Tyler Rodriguez directly, pretending to be conducting a routine background check for a potential employer. During their conversation, Tyler mentions that he's been reconnecting with an old college girlfriend named Riley. "Yeah, we've been seeing each other since I moved back to Denver," Tyler says. "It's complicated though. She says she's not ready for anything serious, but we've been spending a lot of time together. I'm hoping she'll come around." When Maria shows Jessica this information, Jessica makes a decision that will change everything. "I want to meet Tyler," Jessica says. "I want to tell him the truth about Riley." They arrange to meet at a neutral location, a bookstore cafe in Cherry Creek. Tyler arrives first, and Jessica spots him immediately from Maria's photos. He's even more handsome in person with kind eyes and an easy smile. "Tyler." Jessica approaches his table. "I'm Jessica Martinez. I'm the one who called you." Tyler stands up, offering his hand. "Nice to meet you. You said you had information about Riley." Jessica sits down, studying this man who has unknowingly become part of Riley's web of lies. "Tyler, I need to ask you some personal questions, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Are you and Riley sexually involved?" Tyler's face flushes. That's pretty personal." "Why do you need to know?" "Because Riley is my best friend, and she's pregnant, and she's about to destroy several lives with her lies." Jessica spends the next hour telling Tyler everything. David's affair, Riley's deception, the pregnancy announcement planned for the anniversary dinner. "She's pregnant." Tyler's face goes white. "She never told me. She said she was on birth control." "When did you first sleep with her after moving back to Denver?" Tyler thinks carefully. "June 15th. It was her birthday. We went out to celebrate, and one thing led to another." Jessica does quick math. If Riley is announcing her pregnancy in October and she's far enough along to be showing the conception, date would be right around June 15th. "Tyler," Jessica says gently, "I think there's a very good chance that baby is yours, not my husband's." Tyler stares at her in shock. "But she's been seeing your husband too. She's been playing both of you. Using David to break up my marriage while keeping you as her backup plan, but if she's pregnant with your baby, she's about to pin it on David to secure her financial future. This is insane. Riley wouldn't. She's not that kind of person." Jessica shows him some of Maria's photographs, Riley and David in compromising positions, Riley entering hotels with David, Riley wearing expensive jewelry that Tyler probably doesn't recognize because David bought it for her. "Tyler, I'm going to ask you to do something that might seem crazy, but I need your help to expose the truth." "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to come to dinner with us on Friday night. I want you to be there when Riley makes her announcement. I want to see her face when she realizes her lies are about to collapse around her." Tyler agrees, though he's clearly struggling to process everything Jessica has told him. But Jessica isn't done with her investigation. She has one more bomb to drop, and this one is going to destroy David completely. Remember those fertility treatments David was secretly getting? Jessica decides to get some answers of her own. She makes an appointment with Dr. Patricia Williams at Rocky Mountain Fertility Center, telling them she's concerned about her husband's treatment and wants to understand his condition better. Dr. Williams is a kind woman in her 50s with gray hair and gentle eyes. She welcomes Jessica into her office with genuine warmth. "Mrs. Martinez, I'm so glad you came in. It's wonderful when spouses are supportive of fertility treatments. Doctor, I need to be honest with you. My husband has been getting treatments here without my knowledge. I only found out by accident, and I'm trying to understand what's going on. Dr. Williams looks confused. Without your knowledge, that's unusual. Fertility treatments are typically a joint decision between partners. What exactly has my husband been treated for? Dr. Williams pulls up David's file on her computer, frowning as she reads. This is very strange. According to our records, your husband has severe oligospermia, an extremely low sperm count that makes natural conception virtually impossible, but he's not been receiving treatments to improve his fertility. Jessica's heart starts pounding. What do you mean? He's been receiving hormone injections that suppress sperm production even further. When I asked him about it, he said, you two weren't ready for children yet, but you were pressuring him, so he wanted to make sure there were no accidents. The room starts spinning around Jessica. He's been taking medication to make sure I can't get pregnant. I'm afraid so. These injections are sometimes used as a form of male birth control, though it's not common. I did advise him that long-term use could cause permanent damage to his fertility. Jessica grips the arms of her chair. Permanent damage. I'm sorry, Mrs. Martinez. Based on the duration and dosage of his treatments, it's likely your husband will never be able to father children naturally, even if he stops the injections immediately. Jessica sits in stunned silence, processing this information. David hasn't just been cheating. He's been systematically preventing her from getting pregnant while making her believe the problem was either random bad luck or something wrong with her body. Every month when her period came, Jessica would cry and apologize to David. I'm sorry, maybe I should see a specialist. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And David would hold her, comfort her, tell her they just needed to keep trying, all while knowing he was the reason she couldn't conceive. That's not just betrayal, that's reproductive coercion, that's psychological torture. Doctor, Jessica says, her voice barely steady, I need copies of all my husband's medical records, and I need you to document everything we've discussed today. Dr. Williams nods sympathetically. Of course. And Mrs. Martinez, I'm truly sorry. What your husband has done. It's a form of abuse. You may want to speak with a counselor who specializes in reproductive coercion. Jessica leaves the fertility clinic with a thick file of medical records and a new understanding of just how deep David's deception goes. But she's not done yet. She has one more investigation to conduct, and this one is going to expose Riley's financial crimes. Jessica's next move is pure genius. She decides to investigate Riley's finances, and what she discovers makes her previous revelations look like amateur hour. Jessica has access to Riley's Venmo account. They've been sending each other money for years for shared expenses, group gifts, dinners out. But now Jessica starts looking at the transactions with new eyes. Over the past 3 months, Riley has been receiving payments from David. Not large amounts, $200 here, $150 there, but they add up. The payment descriptions are innocuous: dinner, gas money, thank you. But Jessica recognizes the pattern. David has been giving Riley money for their dates, money that comes from the joint account Jessica shares with her husband. But it gets worse. Jessica checks their shared credit card statements and finds charges she doesn't recognize. The Ritz-Carlton downtown, expensive restaurants she's never been to, Victoria's Secret purchases in sizes that don't fit Jessica. Riley has been using Jessica's own money to fund her affair with Jessica's husband. Jessica digs deeper. She checks their PayPal account, their shared Amazon account, even their Costco membership. The financial theft goes back months. Riley has been systematically stealing small amounts, never enough to trigger alerts, but enough to fund her double life. Gas for her car when she drives to meet David. New lingerie for their hotel encounters. Expensive makeup and clothes to look good for both David and Tyler. But the most damning discovery comes when Jessica checks her own bank account statements and notices cash withdrawals she doesn't remember making. She calls her bank and requests video footage from their ATM cameras. What she sees makes her physically ill. Riley using Jessica's ATM card, withdrawing $100 here, $200 there. Always from ATMs near the fertility clinic, always on days when David had appointments. Riley has been stealing Jessica's ATM card from her purse during their girls' nights, making copies and using them to withdraw cash for her affairs. Jessica has been unknowingly funding her own betrayal. Armed with this information, Jessica makes copies of everything. Bank statements, credit card records, Venmo transactions, ATM footage. She packages it all up for her divorce attorney and for the police report she's going to file for identity theft and fraud. But Jessica saves the most devastating revelation for last. She hires a forensic accountant to dig into David's business finances. What they find is going to destroy him professionally as well as personally. David has been using his business credit cards for his affairs with Riley, hotel rooms, expensive dinners, jewelry, all charged to Martinez and Thompson financial advisors. That's not just adultery, that's embezzlement. Worse, David has been inflating his business expenses on their tax returns, claiming personal purchases as business deductions. The IRS is going to be very interested in this information. Jessica now has enough evidence to destroy both David and Riley financially, legally, and socially. But she's not done yet. She wants to destroy them emotionally too. Jessica spends 2 weeks planning the perfect trap for the anniversary dinner. Every detail is calculated for maximum impact and humiliation. First, she chooses the location carefully. The Capitol Grill isn't just where David proposed, it's also where they celebrated every major milestone in their relationship. First anniversary promotions David's business partnership with Marcus. It's their special place, which makes it the perfect location for its destruction. Jessica makes the reservation for 7 p.m. on a Friday night when the restaurant is packed with Denver's elite. She specifically requests the same corner booth where David proposed, the one with the best view of the city lights. She invites Marcus, David's business partner, for 2 reasons. First, she wants a witness to everything that's about to happen. Second, she's going to expose David's embezzlement in front of the person who has the most to lose from David's financial crimes. Jessica spends hours preparing her evidence. She has manila envelopes organized by category: medical records, financial statements, photographs, recorded conversations. She practices her reveals, timing each bombshell for maximum impact. But the masterstroke is Tyler. Jessica meets with Tyler 3 more times before the dinner, walking him through exactly what's going to happen. She shows him the paternity test results, preliminary tests using DNA from Riley's coffee cup and Tyler's hair sample that Maria obtained. The baby is definitely Tyler's. "Why are you doing this?" Tyler asks during their final meeting. "Why are you helping me when Riley betrayed you?" "Because you're a victim too," Jessica says. "Riley has been lying to all of us. You deserve to know the truth about your child." Tyler agrees to come to the dinner, though he's nervous about the confrontation. "What do you want me to do?" he asks. "Just be yourself. Act surprised. Let Riley dig her own grave." The day of the dinner, Jessica takes a personal day from work. She spends the morning at the spa. Massage, facial, manicure, the works. She wants to look absolutely radiant when she destroys her enemies. She chooses her outfit carefully, the emerald green dress that makes her look stunning paired with the diamond earrings David gave her for their first anniversary. She wants to look like a woman who's thriving, not like a victim. Jessica arrives at the restaurant first, greeting the hostess like an old friend. She tips the server extra to make sure their table gets the best service. She orders the most expensive wine on the menu, Dom Perignon at $200 a bottle, because David is going to pay for it and it might be the last expensive thing he ever buys. David arrives next, looking nervous but trying to hide it. He kisses Jessica's cheek, tells her she looks beautiful, plays the role of the loving husband. Riley arrives 10 minutes later and Jessica can immediately see the signs she missed before. Riley's skin has that pregnancy glow. Her breasts are slightly fuller. She's wearing a loose-fitting dress that hides her small bump. Marcus arrives last, still acting weird and checking his phone constantly. The dinner starts normally. They order appetizers, make small talk about work and the weather. David seems to relax, probably thinking he's going to get through the announcement without incident. Riley barely touches her food. She keeps looking at David with these loaded glances like they're sharing some intimate secret. Jessica plays her role perfectly. The happy wife, excited about their anniversary, talking about their plans for the future. She even mentions how much she's looking forward to starting a family soon. The irony is delicious. As the evening progresses, Jessica can see Riley getting more agitated. She keeps checking her phone, glancing toward the restaurant entrance, fidgeting with her napkin. David is trying to act normal, but there's sweat beading on his forehead despite the restaurant's perfect temperature. Marcus is practically vibrating with nervous energy, and Jessica realizes he's been in on this the whole time. He's not just a witness, he's David's accomplice, probably helping to coordinate the affair logistics. "So," Jessica says, casually cutting into her $65 Wagyu beef. "Riley, you've been glowing lately. New skincare routine." Riley nearly chokes on her water. "What? Oh, I've been working out more." Jessica nods, taking a sip of the champagne that David is about to regret buying. "You know, I was thinking we should plan another girls' trip soon. Maybe somewhere tropical. I know how much you love piña coladas." Actually, Riley says, her voice shaking slightly. I can't drink right now. I'm on antibiotics. Antibiotics. Jessica raises an eyebrow. Nothing serious, I hope. David jumps in. Maybe we should order dessert. The chocolate souffle here is amazing, but Jessica isn't done playing with her prey. You know, Rye, you mentioned you were seeing someone new. How's that going? Riley's face goes through several shades of red. It's complicated. Complicated? How is he married? Jessica asks innocently. The silence that follows is deafening. David's fork clatters against his plate. Jess, David says, his voice tight. Maybe we should focus on our anniversary. You're absolutely right, baby, Jessica says, reaching over to squeeze his hand. This is about us, about our future together, about the family we're going to build. She can see David and Riley exchanging panicked glances. This isn't going according to their script. That's when David decides to speed up the timeline. He stands up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. Actually, David says, his voice cracking, before we order dessert, I think Riley has something she needs to share with everyone. Jessica's heart pounds, but her expression remains perfectly calm. Oh, what kind of news, Riley? Riley stands up, slowly, tears already forming in her eyes. She's clearly been practicing this moment, but Jessica's casual demeanor is throwing her off. Riley starts, then stops. She looks at David desperately. Go ahead. David encourages, though he looks like he's about to vomit. I'm pregnant. Riley finally blurts out. Jessica takes a slow sip of champagne. Congratulations. That's wonderful news. Who's the father? The question hangs in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Riley's mouth opens and closes like a fish. This isn't how she planned this conversation. The father is... Riley looks at David again and he gives her an almost imperceptible nod. The father is David. The words come out in a rush like she's ripping off a bandage. Jessica sets down her champagne glass with deliberate precision. Every eye in the restaurant seems to be focused on their table now. That's interesting, Jessica says calmly. Very interesting indeed. Jess, I know this is a shock, David starts. Oh, it's not a shock at all, Jessica interrupts. I've known about your affair for months. The color drains from both their faces. What I find fascinating, Jessica continues, reaching for her purse, is the paternity claim. She pulls out the first manila envelope. You see, I've been doing some research. According to Dr. Patricia Williams at Rocky Mountain Fertility Center, my dear husband has been receiving treatments for severe oligospermia. Riley's triumph is starting to crumble. What does that mean? It means, Jessica says, opening the envelope with theatrical precision, that David's sperm count is so low he couldn't get a woman pregnant if he tried for 100 years. She pulls out the medical records, spreading them across the table like playing cards. But here's the really interesting part. David hasn't been trying to fix his fertility. He's been taking hormones to make sure he stays sterile. He's been deliberately preventing me from getting pregnant for over 2 years. David tries to grab the papers. Jess, let me explain. Explain what? How you've been psychologically torturing me for years. How you've made me think I was defective while you were secretly ensuring I could never have your children. The restaurant has gone completely silent now. Even the jazz music seems muted. But back to Riley's interesting news, Jessica continues. If David can't father children, then this baby belongs to someone else. She pulls out her phone and starts typing a text message. Fortunately, I know exactly who that someone is. Riley's face goes white. What are you doing? Inviting the real father to join our celebration. Jessica's phone buzzes with a response and she smiles. He'll be here in 5 minutes. Who? Riley whispers. Tyler Rodriguez. You remember Tyler, don't you? Riley, your college boyfriend who you've been secretly fucking for the past 4 months. Boom. Direct hit. Riley collapses back into her chair like she's been shot. David stares at her in shock. Tyler. David's voice is barely audible. You've been cheating on me too. This is rich. Jessica laughs. You're mad that your mistress was cheating on you with someone else while you were both cheating on me. That's when Tyler walks through the restaurant door looking confused and concerned. Jessica waves him over. Tyler, so glad you could make it. Riley has some news for you. Tyler approaches the table cautiously, taking in the shocked faces and spread documents. What's going on? Tyler asks. Sit down, Jessica says, pulling out the chair next to her. Riley was just telling us about her pregnancy. Tyler's face goes through a series of emotions: confusion, shock, realization, anger. Pregnancy. Tyler looks at Riley. You're pregnant. When were you going to tell me? It's not. Riley starts then stops. There's nowhere to run now. Oh, but it is yours, Jessica says helpfully. She pulls out another envelope. I had a paternity test done. Congratulations, Tyler. You're going to be a daddy. The explosion that follows is nothing short of spectacular. Tyler jumps up from his chair. You're pregnant with my baby, and you were going to let him think it was his. He points at David, who looks like he's been hit by a truck. Riley, what the fuck is wrong with you? Tyler's voice carries across the restaurant. Riley starts sobbing. Tyler, I can explain. Explain what? That you've been playing me for months, that you've been using me while planning to steal this man's wife. David finally finds his voice. Wait, you've been seeing him this whole time while we were planning our future together. Our future? Jessica laughs. David, honey, the only future you have is a prison cell. She pulls out another envelope. The financial records. You see, while I was investigating your affair, I discovered some interesting discrepancies in your business accounts. Marcus finally looks up from his phone, panic written across his face. You've been using company credit cards for your hotel rooms with Riley. That's embezzlement. You've also been claiming personal expenses as business deductions on our taxes. The IRS is going to be very interested in that. David tries to grab the financial records. Jess, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. You're a cheater, a liar, a thief, and an abuser, and after tonight you're going to be unemployed and facing criminal charges. Jessica turns to Marcus. Marcus, as David's business partner, you might want to distance yourself from him immediately. These financial crimes are going to destroy your company's reputation. Marcus stands up abruptly. I had nothing to do with this. David, we need to talk. Now. But Jessica isn't finished with her demolition job. Riley, sweetie, we need to discuss your little theft problem too. Riley looks up through her tears. What theft? Jessica pulls out bank statements, credit card records, and ATM footage. You've been stealing from me for months. My credit cards, my ATM card, my Venmo account. You've been using my money to fund your affairs with both of these men. She spreads the evidence across the table. Identity theft, fraud, embezzlement. You're looking at serious jail time. The restaurant manager approaches their table cautiously. Excuse me, is everything all right here? Everything's perfect, Jessica says brightly. We're just having a little family discussion. Could you bring us another bottle of champagne, the most expensive one you have? My husband is paying. After the manager leaves, Jessica delivers her final blow. Tyler, I need to tell you something else about your baby mama. She's been telling everyone that you're just a casual hookup, that she barely knows you. She's been planning to use David's money to raise your child while cutting you out completely. Tyler's face goes through several shades of red. Is that true, Riley? Riley can't even speak anymore. She's crying so hard her makeup is running in black streams down her face. And David, Jessica continues, Riley's been telling Tyler that you're just a pathetic older man with money who she's using for financial security. She's been laughing about how desperate and gullible you are. David stares at Riley in horror. You said you loved me. She says that to everyone, Jessica replies. It's her specialty. The beautiful irony is that both men now hate Riley more than they hate each other. Jessica has turned their anger away from her and focused it on the woman who manipulated all of them. So, Jessica says, standing up and smoothing her dress, I think our anniversary celebration is complete. She gathers her evidence, puts it back in her purse, and pulls out a final envelope. David, these are divorce papers. You'll be served officially on Monday. Tyler, these are Riley's real contact information and her medical records. You'll need them for the custody battle. Riley, this is a restraining order. Stay away from me, my home, and my workplace. Jessica leaves a $100 tip on the table, more than generous for the show they've provided the staff. Oh, and David, the house is in my name only. I had you removed from the deed 6 months ago when I started investigating your affairs. You have 48 hours to get your things out. She walks toward the exit, then turns back one final time. By the way, I've already contacted both of your employers, the IRS, the Denver Police Department, and the Colorado Bar Association. I've also sent copies of all this evidence to every mutual friend we have, along with a detailed explanation of what you've both done. Jessica pauses for dramatic effect. Your lives as you know them are over. Enjoy picking up the pieces. And with that, she walks out of the restaurant, leaving behind 3 people whose worlds have just been completely destroyed. The next 72 hours are a masterclass in systematic destruction. Jessica takes Monday off work, not because she's devastated, but because she wants to personally oversee the implosion of David and Riley's lives. First, the legal consequences begin rolling in like a tsunami. Monday morning at 9 a.m. sharp, David is served with divorce papers at his office. Jessica's attorney has included every piece of evidence: the affair, the financial crimes, the reproductive coercion. David's colleagues watch in stunned silence as the process server hands him the thick stack of documents. By 10 a.m., Marcus has called an emergency board meeting to discuss David's removal from the company. The financial crimes Jessica documented are enough to destroy their business if they don't act immediately. By noon, David is escorted out of his office by security, his access cards deactivated, his company car repossessed. Riley gets served at her workplace at 2 p.m. The boutique where she works caters to Denver's elite social scene, the same women who are now gossiping about Riley's pregnancy scandal and theft charges. Her boss, Margaret, is horrified when she learns that Riley has been using stolen credit cards to make personal purchases, some of which happened during work hours. Riley is fired on the spot, but Jessica's revenge goes beyond just legal consequences. She's targeted their social destruction too. Remember that group email Jessica sent to all their mutual friends? It goes viral within hours. Screenshots are shared across social media. The story spreads through Denver's professional networks like wildfire. Riley's carefully curated Instagram presence, all those inspirational quotes and lifestyle shots, becomes a joke overnight. The comments section on her last post becomes a battlefield of former friends expressing their disgust and shock. David's LinkedIn profile is flooded with messages from former clients and colleagues, many of them asking pointed questions about his professional ethics. But the most devastating consequences come from unexpected sources. Tyler, armed with Jessica's evidence about Riley's lies and manipulation, immediately files for full custody of the unborn child. He hires a top family law attorney and presents a compelling case that Riley is unfit to be a mother. Riley's own family turns against her when they learn the truth. Her parents, who always liked Jessica, are horrified by their daughter's behavior. They refuse to provide financial support for Riley's legal defense. David's family has a similar reaction. His parents, who considered Jessica their daughter-in-law, immediately take Jessica's side in the divorce. They offer to testify about David's character flaws and his history of manipulation. The financial consequences are swift and brutal. The IRS launches an audit of David's personal and business taxes going back 5 years. The discrepancies Jessica documented trigger criminal investigations for tax fraud and money laundering. Riley's theft charges result in her credit being destroyed overnight. Her apartment lease is terminated when her landlord learns about the criminal charges. Her car is repossessed when she can't make the payments without her job. But Jessica saves the best for last. She contacts the local news stations with Riley and David's story. A producer at 9 News is immediately interested. A story about a pregnant woman trying to steal her best friend's husband while both commit financial crimes is ratings gold. The story airs on Thursday night, just 5 days after the anniversary dinner. Jessica doesn't participate in the interview, but she provides background information that makes the story compelling. The news segment includes interviews with Tyler, who comes across as a sympathetic victim, quotes from unnamed friends who describe Riley as manipulative, and expert commentary about reproductive coercion and financial abuse. Riley and David become Denver's most hated couple overnight. 6 months later, Jessica is living her best life in ways that would make Riley and David choke on their regrets. Jessica kept the house, all $800,000 of it, since it was solely in her name after she had David removed from the deed. She's redecorated, completely erasing every trace of David's presence. The master bedroom has been transformed from a couple's retreat into Jessica's personal sanctuary. Her career has skyrocketed. The strength and intelligence she displayed during the divorce proceedings impressed her company's executives. She's been promoted to vice president of marketing with a salary increase that puts her in the top 5% of earners in Denver. But the most satisfying victory is personal. Jessica is dating again, not desperately or rebounds, but confidently and selectively. She's seeing Alex Chen, a pediatric nurse at Children's Hospital, Colorado. He's kind, honest, emotionally intelligent, and absolutely nothing like David. Alex knows the whole story of Jessica's divorce, and instead of being intimidated by her strength, he's inspired by it. He's seen firsthand what manipulation and abuse can do to people through his work with children, and he admires Jessica's courage in fighting back. They've been together for 4 months and Jessica is genuinely happy. Not the performative happiness she had with David, but deep, authentic contentment. The most beautiful irony: Jessica is pregnant. After years of David's secret sabotage, Jessica conceived naturally with Alex within 3 months of their relationship becoming serious. She's 12 weeks along past the dangerous first trimester, and the pregnancy is progressing perfectly. Jessica's OBGYN, Dr. Sarah Chen, Alex's sister, which is how they met, confirms that Jessica's fertility is completely normal. The problem was never Jessica, it was David's deliberate interference. "Your hormone levels are perfect, Dr. Chen tells Jessica during her 12-week appointment. "You're going to have a very healthy pregnancy." Jessica places her hand on her small bump, feeling the flutter of new life inside her. This baby will grow up in a home filled with love, honesty, and mutual respect. Everything Jessica never had with David. Meanwhile, the consequences for David and Riley continue to compound. David is living in a studio apartment in a questionable part of town, working as a junior salesman at a used car lot. His professional reputation is destroyed. The tax fraud charges resulted in hefty fines and 2 years of probation. He's also required to pay restitution to his former company and clients. The reproductive coercion charges were groundbreaking, one of the first successful prosecutions in Colorado. David received a suspended sentence and mandatory counseling, but the conviction remains on his record permanently. Riley's situation is even worse. The theft and fraud charges resulted in 18 months of probation and community service. She's working 2 part-time jobs, cleaning offices at night and working retail during the day, to pay for her legal fees and restitution to Jessica. Tyler won full custody of their daughter, born in March 2024. Riley has supervised visitation twice a week, but Tyler has primary custody and decision-making authority. Riley's daughter, Emma, is a beautiful, healthy baby who will grow up knowing that her father fought for her before she was even born. Tyler has proven to be an excellent father. He's taken parenting classes, baby-proofed his apartment, and dedicated himself completely to his daughter's well-being. He occasionally sends Jessica updates and photos, grateful for her role in helping him discover his paternity. "Emma would never have known her real father if you hadn't revealed the truth," Tyler wrote in a recent text. "I can never thank you enough for that." The social consequences have been equally satisfying. Riley and David are pariahs in Denver's professional and social circles. Former friends cross the street to avoid them. Professional opportunities have dried up. Their dating prospects are non-existent. Their story is too well known in the city. Several other women have come forward with stories about David's manipulative behavior, creating a pattern that validates Jessica's experience. David's reputation as a predator is now well established. Riley's influence or aspirations are completely dead. Her social media accounts remain deactivated. She's gained 60 pounds since the pregnancy and hasn't lost the weight, partly due to stress and partly due to only being able to afford cheap processed food. But the most satisfying moment came 3 months ago when Jessica ran into Riley at a grocery store. Jessica was shopping for organic produce and high-end baby products, glowing with health and happiness in her designer maternity clothes. Riley was in the checkout line with generic diapers and ramen noodles, looking exhausted and defeated. Their eyes met across the store. Riley's face crumpled like she was about to cry or approach Jessica with another pathetic apology. Jessica simply nodded politely, the kind of acknowledgement you give to a stranger, and continued shopping. Riley got the message. They were strangers now. The 12 years of friendship might as well have never existed. All right, warriors, let's break down the tactical brilliance of Jessica's revenge so you can apply these strategies in your own life. 1. Documentation is your superpower. Jessica didn't just suspect, she proved. Screenshots, recordings, financial records, medical documents. In today's world, everything leaves a digital trail. Use that to your advantage. 2. Professional help is worth every penny. Private investigators, attorneys, forensic accountants, medical professionals. Jessica invested in expert help, and it paid off massively. When your life is under attack, hire the best defense you can afford. 3. Patience is a weapon. Jessica could have confronted David and Riley immediately, but she waited. She built an airtight case first. Patience allowed her to gather evidence that destroyed them completely instead of just embarrassing them temporarily. 4. Know your legal rights. Reproductive coercion is real, and it's abuse. Financial theft is a crime. Identity theft has serious consequences. Jessica knew her rights and used the legal system to protect herself. 5. Control the narrative. Jessica told her story first with evidence to back it up. By the time David and Riley tried to defend themselves, public opinion had already turned against them. control the story, or become the victim of someone else's version. 6. Social consequences are powerful. Financial and legal consequences are devastating, but social destruction can be even more effective. Jessica made sure everyone knew what David and Riley had done. Their reputations will never recover. 7. Financial independence is non-negotiable because Jessica had her own career and resources she could leave on her terms. She didn't need David's money or permission. Build your own financial security so you're never trapped. 8. Quality over quantity in relationships. 12 years of friendship meant nothing when Riley showed her true colors. 1 year with Alex has brought Jessica more happiness than 5 years with David. Choose people who choose you. 9. Your health is your wealth. Jessica prioritized her physical and mental health throughout the ordeal. She exercised, ate well, went to therapy, and took care of herself. You can't fight effectively if you are not physically and emotionally strong. 10. The best revenge is massive success. Jessica didn't just destroy her enemies, she built a life so amazing that they can only watch from the sidelines. Career success, healthy relationship, beautiful pregnancy, financial security. She's thriving while they're surviving. 11. Trust your instincts always. Jessica ignored red flags for months because she wanted to trust the people she loved. Your intuition is your early warning system. Listen to it. When something feels wrong, investigate. 12. Plan for every contingency. Jessica had backup plans for her backup plans. Evidence stored in multiple locations. Legal documents prepared in advance. Exit strategies for every scenario. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. The ultimate message, why this story changes everything. Listen up, because this is the most important part of Jessica's story. This isn't just about revenge. This isn't just about getting even. This is about refusing to be a victim and choosing to be a victor instead. Too many women accept betrayal because they've been conditioned to keep the peace, to work things out, to forgive and forget. Jessica said hell no to that bullshit and chose to fight back with intelligence, evidence, and absolutely zero mercy. David thought he could control Jessica's fertility and her future. Wrong. Riley thought she could steal Jessica's husband and destroy her marriage. Wrong. Both of them thought Jessica was weak, trusting, and easy to manipulate. Dead wrong. Jessica proved that when you underestimate the right woman, you don't just lose, you get obliterated. She turned their betrayal into her victory, their lies into her truth, their manipulation into her liberation. David and Riley's biggest mistake wasn't just betraying Jessica, it was thinking she would stay down when they knocked her down. They forgot that the strongest women are forged in the fires of betrayal. They forgot that intelligence combined with evidence is unstoppable. They forgot that a woman with nothing left to lose is the most dangerous enemy you can make. Jessica didn't just survive their betrayal. She used it as fuel to build an empire. Her enemies became footnotes in her success story. Her pain became her power. Her betrayal became her beginning. That's what real strength looks like, warriors. Not screaming, not begging, not trying to win them back, but systematically dismantling their lives while building your own paradise. You are not responsible for other people's betrayal, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. You can choose to be a victim, or you can choose to be a warrior. You can let betrayal break you, or you can let it build you into someone unstoppable. You can let manipulators convince you that you're the problem, or you can gather evidence and show them exactly what happens when they mess with the wrong woman. The choice is yours, but if you choose to fight back, make sure you fight like Jessica, with intelligence, preparation, patience, and absolutely no mercy. Because the best revenge isn't just living well, it's living so well that your enemies can't even comprehend the level of success you've achieved while they're still picking up the pieces of the lives they destroyed. Remember, you are stronger than you know, smarter than they think, and more deserving of love and respect than they could ever understand. Trust yourself, protect yourself, document everything, build your empire, and never ever let anyone convince you that you deserve less than everything. This is Sophia with Steve on Reddit Stories, reminding you that karma might be slow, but justice is forever. Destroy your enemies. Build your empire. Live your best life. If Jessica's story fired you up, drop a comment and let me know. Share this with any woman who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of people who refused to be victims and chose to be victors instead. Stay strong, stay smart, stay savage.